We got the cap space, we know comp picks, and we know franchise tag. Let's talk about all that. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, the cap space is officially out, and it don't look good. The cap space is out. We know who has comp picks, who doesn't have compensatory pick. I don't even, you know what I'm saying. We know who's franchise tag now. So I'm going to talk about all that. Then I'm going to kind of talk about the strategy the Dolphins are going to have going into the free agency that starts next week and the draft, all that stuff. And also some players are getting cut. Some players are getting re-signed. There's a lot to talk about. So before I jump into it, I got to shout out my guys at patchvibes.com. They have some fantastic stuff. You saw that t-shirt I was wearing in, not my last video, but the video before that. That's Patch Vibes. They make these cool, awesome jerseys, these cool, awesome patches. Check these out. Check this out. Use the promo code DDW. You get yourself 20% off. The cap space was officially released. And then today, more stuff came out, like the comp picks came out, and I'll explain how comp picks work. Let's talk about the cap space. The cap space is officially $182.5 million. Last year, it was $198.2 million, which means it went down by about $15.3 million. That ain't good. That's a lot of money. And a lot of it has to do with no butts in the seats, no real merchandise sale, no real, it has to do with a lot of the stuff that the players and the organizations make off of people going to games, people interacting with games. For a little retrospective, again, $182.5 million. Last year, the cap space was $188.2 million. So even last year in 2019, more cap space. 2018, $177.2 million. So this is the least amount of cap space in the past 2 years. What does that mean for the Dolphins? Where are the Dolphins sitting at in cap space? I know that's the biggest, most important thing you guys want to know. Dolphins right now are at $24.4 million in cap space. And with the release of Kyle Van Noy, which was already kind of announced but hasn't been done yet, Dolphins are probably going to try to trade him and get something for him. They'll be sitting at $36 million. So they're without any other cuts, whether it be Bobby McCain, whether it be Jakeem Grant, whether it be us trading Eric Flowers, releasing Jesse Davis, whatever. We're sitting at $36 million with the Kyle Van Noy release or trade. That being said, what other things could happen to help the Dolphins out? Now, I expect this upcoming season to be better. WrestleMania, which is coming up this month, I think, or next month, is already allowing fans in the stands. They're already selling tickets. So if they're doing it and we're starting to see certain areas, the vaccines are starting to work. You're allowed to see your grandparents. If you're vaccinated, you're allowed to do more things if you're vaccinated. I could see this season kind of going back to normal, which means the cap space next year will go back to normal and probably go up double than it normally goes. It goes about 10 million every year. I expect it to skyrocket, maybe about 20 million up. I see a lot of contracts this year being a very cap heavy next year. So the last year, the Dolphins signed a pretty penny of players, Byron Jones, Kyle Van Noy, to nice contracts, but they set the contracts up that in 2022, they can cut them with no cap penalty, or their contracts up like Emmanuel Ogbah. After this season, Emmanuel Ogbah is a free agent. So they did it smart by planning for, okay, something might go down. Let's be ready to have more money in 2022. The Dolphins are set to have probably one of the most cap spaces in 2022 by the way they set their contracts up last free agency. Very, very smart. I expect the Dolphins, if they do make any big splashy moves, which I'll talk about, or if they do decide to restructure contracts, which I'll talk about, to make them more impactful next year. So say the Dolphins do want to get Lindsley. Say they do. I'm hearing a ton. Again, I keep hearing about Aaron Jones. Say they do somehow get Aaron Jones. They'll probably won't pay him a lot. They'll probably give him a signing bonus. Then they'll probably pay him, let's say, $6 million this year. But then next year, it'll probably be like $14 million. because next year they'll have the money. Expect contracts like that. Expect contracts not even just from the Dolphins, from the whole NFL. Expect a lot of contracts like that where we're going to take a big chunk of your guaranteed money and put it towards next year's cap because that's going to go up and we'll have more money. That being said, who would get restructured? I could see them trying to restructure Byron Jones. You know, his contract is pretty cap heavy, and they could probably try to spread it out more. Maybe have him get guaranteed money for more years so they can keep him around more if they want to. The name that gets brought up a lot when it comes to, well, this guy, what about this guy? This guy played really well, Xavier Howard, 10 interceptions. He's going to want a new contract. He's going to want more money. That actually could help the Dolphins, right? Xavier Howard says, was the best corner in the NFL last year, 10 interceptions. I was shutting people down. I think he had like a 56 point something QBR every time he got thrown at. All this stuff. Fantastic guy. You know, he's the best. I deserve more money than I'm getting. I'm getting paid like 5th or 6th top corner. I am the best corner. I should be paid that way. All right. Miami's like, all right, fine. We don't want to see you go. So we'll give you that money. And what they'll do is, okay, we're going to restructure your contract then and take his cap hit this year down and spread his money out. All right, here's your guaranteed money, which will eat some of the cap hit. We're going to take your money away this year because we need it, and we're going to spread it out over the next 4 years. And then all of a sudden, the Dolphins have even more cap space this year, in the year that a lot of people are going to get cut. I'm going to talk about that in about 2 seconds. You're going to see a lot of people get cut. You're going to see a lot of good players get tested in the free agency market. You want to have that cap space. All of a sudden, it works in the Dolphins' benefit to restructure Xavier Howard and give him the more money he wants, but spread it out over the next 3 years and not this year. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if the Dolphins actually do it, or if they say, no, we're going to keep you on your same contract. If you play like that again, then maybe next year we'll give you the money when we have it. Or if they're like, no, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to sit out, then they'll trade him. We'll see how that all pans out, but I think it's smart, or it actually benefits the Dolphins to redo his contract. Like I said, drop his cap this year and spread it out over the next 3-4 years. So that being said, that's the cap. Before I get into the tags, there was a lot of franchise tagged players. And there's a lot of cuts today. It was 2 cuts today that were very interesting. I want to talk about comp picks. Now, what a comp pick is, if you notice, it starts in the 3rd round after the 32nd pick. And that's where the comp picks start to come in. And the way it works is if you lose a player, so we lost Jawan James to the Denver Broncos. They signed him to a big fat contract. And in 2019, we didn't bring in a lot of contracts. And we did that on purpose to get more comp picks, so we have more draft picks to draft more players and do what we need to do. We lost, like I said, Jawan James, Cameron Wake. We lost a lot of players to free agency. They signed elsewhere. We didn't bring in players. And that's what they do. They comp for that. So the Dolphins last offseason signed a lot of players, but didn't lose a lot of players. So we didn't get any comp picks this year, which makes sense. Like I said, we signed a ton of free agents, but we didn't really lose a ton of free agents, and it didn't match up. So say this year, let's say Xavier Howard was a free agent this year. Try to give you an example. Say Xavier Howard was a free agent this year, and Xavier Howard signed with another team for $150 million. Again, this is all, I'm just trying to give you an idea. $150 million. We sign a corner to try to compensate, we try to compensate for that loss of Xavier Howard, but we sign a corner for $80 million. The NFL tries to compensate for our loss and gives us a pick. Compensatory pick. Comp pick. So that's how it works. You have to lose a big one and not gain a big one. So say we lost Xavier Howard and he signed about a $50 million contract with another team, and we brought in Byron Jones and we signed him to an $80 million contract. We don't get a comp pick because they don't have to compensate for our loss. We actually gained. That's how the comp pick works. I hope that you understand how the comp pick works. So no, we didn't get any comp picks because we didn't lose anything, but we gained a lot. So there's that. Franchise tag. Here are the players that were franchise tagged yesterday by 4 o'clock. We have Broncos safety Justin Simmons. A lot of you guys were talking about bringing him in, potentially having him replace Bobby McCain. He's got franchise tag. The Jets safety Marcus May. Washington did guard Brandon Scherf, which I'm not surprised on that. Buccaneers did wide receiver Chris Godwin. A lot of you guys wanted to bring him in. Jaguars did offensive tackle Cam Robinson. Giants did defensive lineman Leonard Williams. He was a very good guy if he hit the market. Bears did wide receiver Allen Robinson, another guy. Panthers did offensive tackle Taylor Martin, and Saints did safety Marcus Williams. And if you notice, when I did my free agency targets, I had Curtis Samuel on there. And a lot of you guys were like, Curtis Samuel, screw that. I want Chris Godwin. I want Allen Robinson. Well, now you can't get Chris Godwin and you can't get Allen Robinson because they're both franchise tag. Curtis Samuel is actually a pretty good wide receiver with the amount of separation he gets and the amount of touchdowns he gets. He's a pretty good wide receiver for the amount of money we can get. But looking at these franchise tags, a lot of the names I saw in the comment section for the free agent video who people wanted are gone. Justin Simmons, Chris Godwin, and Allen Robinson, they're gone. So now you have to change your mindset. And that's where, we make these videos and they're fun. I love doing them. I'm going to keep doing them where I do my free agent targets, but a lot can change with players getting re-signed. Speaking of that, Levante David, linebacker from the Bucs, got re-signed. I would have loved the Dolphins to try to get him. He got re-signed, but you also noticed a name on there that didn't get franchise tag was Aaron Jones. And I'm hearing a lot of connections with him in Miami. We'll see if the Dolphins pull the trigger. I'm not a big fan of spending big money on a running back. Yes, he did fantastic last year, but he also was a product of the environment, having Adams and having Aaron Jones there. So we'll see if that pans out, but I'm not about paying $13 million for a running back. I don't like it. But yeah, so a lot of things. It's the same thing with the draft. A lot of people are doing mock drafts already when free agency hasn't even started. You have people mock drafting certain players to certain teams. All of a sudden, they address that in free agency. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, well, they don't need them anymore. And we have to. That's why I haven't done the draft. I'm still in free agency mode. I haven't even touched the draft. So, and then there were some cuts today. Saints cut 2 players because they are $40 million above the cap. $40 million. They have to cut so much to get under the cap. Holy crap, Oli. And they still franchise tag Marcus Williams. How? They cut Quan Alexander, the linebacker, and they cut Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders is a name out there. Yes, he's around 33 years old. He's a little bit on the older side, but he's a name out there. Potentially come in, help the wide receiver core. The Dolphins wide receiver core needs a little bit of help. We saw how they struggled last year. But more cuts, and expect more cuts. Probably while I'm recording this, there is going to be more cuts. While I'm editing this and I'm waiting for it to upload, there'll be more cuts. And I swear if there's any Dolphin cuts, I'm going to be so upset because you're going to get a video right after this one or while this one is uploading talking about the Dolphin cuts. But as of right now, let me check my phone. No cuts as of now. But expect a lot. Expect a lot from today till probably the weekend because Monday is the tampering period and Wednesday is the start of free agency. A lot going on. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. That being said, so I talked about the new cap space. I talked about the comp picks. I talked about franchise tags. I talked about cuts. I talked about restructuring. What is the Dolphins offseason strategy, right? What do I see them doing? I see them going after, like I said, a lot of these contracts are going to be like the contracts in 2019 where, okay, we're going to have a lot of money for whenever, and then we won't. So your contract is going to be structured that way. And that's what the Dolphins did in 2019 when they signed Byron Jones, when they signed Kyle Van Noy, when they signed Agba. Not 2019, 2020. Sorry. When they signed all these guys, they structured them in a way that, okay, we're going to have money 2020 and 2021 and 2022. We're going to structure your contract in a way that once 2022 hits, we get even more money. Because we need that money in 2022 to sign Mike Gesicki, Durham Smythe, Jerome Baker, all these guys. So Emmanuel Agba, we're only going to sign you for 2 years. Eric Flowers, we're only going to sign you for 2 years. Byron Jones, we expect you to be here for a while, so you'll get a little longer of a contract. Kyle Van Noy, 2 years, and then we can let you go. They did it beforehand. That's how they structured it. And that's how they're going to continue to structure it, because they're playing smart, because they don't have Tannenbaum back there just chucking money at a wall and hoping it sticks. And then, okay, maybe you'll play well for us, and then you don't. And then we suck. I'm tired of it. And the Dolphins are tired of it. So they stop just putting names on a wall, glue stick in the wall, and just chucking money at it. Oh, it's stuck on Mike Wallace. He did well for the Steelers. Bring him on in. Crap. We paid him way too much for his production. Throw it again. Look at this guy. Kevin Burnett. You guys remember that one? Didn't do bad. I'll give you another one. Donald Ellerbe. Fantastic for the Ravens. Bring him in. He sucks. We're not doing that anymore. We're structuring it in a way that you still need to, you're coming here, you're going to play for us. You need to prove it. Eric Rowe, prove it. You proved it, you got your contract. Devontae Parker, prove it, you proved it, you got your contract. Xavier Howard, prove it, you got your contract. That's the strategy. Same thing with the draft. I don't expect a lot. I would like them, this draft, to be aggressive. B-E, aggressive. Trade down, right? Sitting at 3. Say the Jets take Sewell, sitting at 3. You got Wilson sitting there. You got Justin Fields sitting there. All of a sudden, your phone's ringing off the charts, right? You got and I did go back and check out my prediction for week 1 starters for quarterbacks. I'm 2 for 2. I'm 2 for 2. So far, I'm hearing that Alex Smith is a big rumor to go to the Bears. And look, Dak Prescott re-signed with the Cowboys. So far, Alex Smith didn't happen, so I'll say I'm 1 for 1. But check it out, because I talk about certain teams that will trade up to get certain quarterbacks, and I said the Panthers trade up, Justin Fields. Phone will be ringing off the kiss, but move up as well. Dolphins didn't necessarily move up a lot in last draft. I'd like to see them move up more. If there's a player there that you like, if they like Najee Harris, or if they like, whoever, get them. Go get them. Don't be like, oh, well, we like him, but if he falls to his school, we also like this guy. I feel like that's what they did with J.K. Dobbins and Raekwon Davis. They were sitting there. J.K. Dobbins is falling. The Ravens are in front of us, and they were like, if they take, we don't want to waste any picks. If they take J.K. Dobbins, we're very happy with Raekwon Davis, and that's how it panned out. Be more aggressive. Go forward and get it. But I expect there's areas that need to be addressed. Wide receiver core. It was all right. Devontae Parker got injured again. Preston Williams got injured again after that. We had some great players. Perry kind of didn't really show up much. Bowden showed up. Grant didn't show up much. Allen Hurns is coming back. Wilson's coming back. Will they be on the team? You need to address the wide receiver core. It was bad. No separation. Worse than the league when it came to getting separation from your corners. Need to address that. Offensive line needs to be addressed a little bit more. Yes, I know we trade for Isaiah Wilson, but he needs to show that he can play well on the field and off the field. I'm not guaranteeing that he's going to be our starting right tackle, so we need to still address the offensive line, especially in the middle. Defensive line, we need a pass rusher. I don't care that Emmanuel Ogbah had 9 sacks. He also disappeared for about 5 games. We need a consistent pass rush. Address the linebacker core, address the safeties, and address the running backs. A lot of places that need to be addressed. So make the moves you need to. But that's my strategy. Address them. Address them, and the way the contracts are going to be, and also be a little bit more aggressive in the draft. Go get your guy. Don't sit back and wait. Go get your guy. You know what I'm saying? But that's my whole spiel. Comment below. What do you think about the cap space? What do you think about my idea of if X wants a new contract, that might benefit the Dolphins? What is your thoughts on not having comp picks? What is your thoughts on who got franchise tagged, who didn't, the cuts? Be sure to comment below, and I'm going to get to you guys comment of the day. This comment comes from Megan Itwit, and she says, comment of the day, I got a question. Hunt, Kinley, Wilson, Jackson, all big bodies and said to be maulers. With that being said, do you think we're going to transit into a run-heavy offense with play action and screens so Tua can get rid of the ball quickly, or just that head office likes big guys? I don't know, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised because they like to put the big boys at fullback. Like we've seen Christian Wilkins play fullback a ton of times. It also saves a roster spot. Like I don't know if Chandler Cox is going to be on the team when the season starts. But I would I'm for the mindset of my guards and my center need to be able to pull. And what I mean by pull is you'll see certain plays. If I'm going to pitch the ball to the outside or if I'm doing any outside runs, my guards and my centers need to be able to get over there and block before the defense has a chance to get there. And you notice that last season, those plays were non-existent. The only way plays got to the outside is if the running back kind of planted his foot, noticed that the left side is wide open and ran that way. We saw a lot with Gaskins. Even when Bowden was back there, you saw a lot of those motions, and that's where a lot of the big chunk runs came from. Is a lot of, you're supposed to go this way. There's nothing there for me. I'm going to try to cut it this way. Look at all that real estate. I'm going to take off. It's because Solomon Kinley is a big mauler, but he's not fast. He can't get out there. A lot of times when the Dolphins would pitch the ball, try to run the outside, the defenders were already there before our guards were there, centers were there to make the block. That's what you look for. And that's why a lot of times when you watch combines and when you watch tape on offensive linemen, you want them to have fast feet. You want them to be able to pull and stiff hands. Because if you have jello arms or if you don't have long arms and I used to play defensive end. So if I faced a guy who had shorter arms than me and I have humongous arms, I loved it because if I can get my hands on you, I'm going to move you out of my way. That's why you'll notice that when they talk about offensive linemen, they talk about feet, arms, and strength. You want to be able to get your hands on these defenders and keep them at an arm's distance. Don't let them touch you and move them. And you also want to be able to not have your feet be perpendicular under you so you fall over. You want to have shoulder length feet and you want them to be quick, especially the tackles, because you have these defensive ends coming around the edge. You want these tackles to have quick feet and stay with the defensive ends. Also quick feet and getting your butt out there and blocking on these toss plays and these different plays. So like she's saying, we got these big bodies. Now, again, I said Wilson isn't a guarantee that he's going to be a starter. We got him in exchange for a 7th. We gave him our 7th this year. They gave us their 7th next year. It's not a guarantee he's going to be on the team when the season starts. We'll see how he plays. We'll see if he can get into shape. We'll see how he does, because Brian Flores has no problem with saying, you didn't pan out, we're done, hit the bricks. Did it with, Weaver. You're too injured. You weren't panning out. Adios, muchacho. He has no problem with it didn't work out. See you later, alligator. And that's what I love about him. I said it before. Brian Flores owns up to his mistakes quick and gets it gone. Because if you try to dwell on your mistakes and try to fix them and no, it's not a mistake. This is what I plan to do. And you're trying to make a pot and it's just bobbling everywhere. That's what Joe Philbin did. That's what Adam Gase did. They didn't own up to their mistakes. They tried to prove that they were right, and then it blew up in their face. Now, Brian Flores, you don't pan out? See you later. We don't need you. So, but I expect them to address the guard center position a little bit more, add one of each. Joe Thuney didn't get franchise tagged. Can bring him in. So, thank you for the comment, Megan. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, be sure to subscribe. I have a ton of videos planned, especially when the free agency starts. It'll be a lot of rapid fire from my phone videos, so it's not going to look like this with pop-ups and stuff, but I will get you all the news as it breaks. I might also try to go live the night of free agency like I did last year for about an hour. Time permitted, baby permitted. If I can get that time, I will go live. But other than that, guys, be sure to check out Miami Sports Music. Fantastic YouTube channel, website I'm a part of. Me, TD, Solo D started with Steven. Fantastic stuff. There's other podcasts on there. Go check it out. Other than that, if news breaks today, which again, I'm going to check my phone. You're going to see a lot of me checking my phone. No other news has broke. No one else has been cut. But if other news breaks today, I'll try to get you a video today. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. Effins up.